So I've opened multiple fitness studios and quickly made them profitable. And I've done this all over the world in different countries and helped gym owners and personal trainers do the same thing. And this is the checklist of some of the steps you need in place to achieve that level of business. So I'm going to walk you through each of these. And if you want the PDF that has this checklist, just drop a comment below and you'll get it there. So it all starts at the top with a 7-figure business mindset. This is the first thing you've got to have in place. Now, at the mindset level, of course, if we don't solve your mindset, then nothing is going to get done. And I always say that a business can only grow to the size of the consciousness of its owner, meaning your business can only grow if you're growing. And if your business has stagnated and stopped growing, that usually indicates there's something that you're not growing in. Either you need to grow in your mindset or you need to grow in your skill set. So in this is the first thing I do with entrepreneurs and fit pros that I mentor personally is we're going to look at your focus and productivity. Focus is, do you know what to focus on in the big picture, starting with like your big goals and then breaking that down into quarterly, monthly, weekly, and even daily targets and tasks that have to be done every day with focus. That's what focus is all about, knowing the big vision and then also being able to chunk it down into daily steps so you don't get overwhelmed. Productivity then is simply you doing those tasks every day and tracking the results. That brings us to discipline and habits. So have you ever been in a position where you know what to do, you've laid out a plan, you've gotten excited and said, I'm going to do all this stuff, you've done a course or you went to a seminar, you laid out the plan for the next 90 days, you thought it was going to be simple. Maybe you've done this in your nutrition and fitness, not just in business. And then a week or 2 weeks into it, you realize you've completely fallen off. You've gone back to your old habits and you're starting from scratch all over again. This shows a lack of discipline building, and it's totally common because when you set out for a new goal, you usually have to change the tasks and your behaviors. And this feels unnatural at the beginning, and we're subconsciously wired to just kind of snap back to the old routine that we were doing. So you have to push through that period to let your brain cells, your neurology, to kind of make your neurons shift to the new habits to become the new person, essentially. And that's what true discipline is all about. It's actually becoming a different person. I often say that the reason you haven't achieved your goal yet is because you haven't become the person who would have achieved that goal. So this is why I call it 7-figure business mindset. You need to think about, what is the 7-figure version of you like right now? As if you were an Olympic bodybuilding champion, right? Think of the Olympic or like the top level bodybuilding champion. What kind of habits would that guy do every single day? He wouldn't skip a meal. He wouldn't skip a workout. He would go and train no matter what, right? He would get recovery and rest. He would prioritize everything around the workouts and nutrition. If you want to get a top level 1% business result, you're going to have to do the same thing. You have to know what do 7-figure entrepreneurs do? How do they think? How do they decide? How do they respond? How do they react? And again, that's why you need 7-figure entrepreneurs in your life, either a mentor or a personal friend or someone that you have who you can actually model on their daily habits. And that brings us to self-awareness, which is constant reflection, looking at your goals, reviewing your progress, but also reviewing your own self-development. And, I spent a few minutes on this section here because it's so important and it's completely missing from 99% of courses or coaching programs. But this is one of the biggest things that I work on with the Fit Pros that I mentor. Next, after we've got that out of the way, okay, and we're always working on it. It's never out of the way, really. We're always working on it. The next thing we look at in your business is fast growth. If you don't have growth, nothing else can happen because growth is where all the revenue comes from. Okay, so growth is revenue generation. This is divided into 3 steps you need in your business. You need a lead generation strategy. We need to be able to generate leads that are high quality leads, and we need that to be consistent, and we need it to be in enough volume and at the right price. So you've got to get a consistent and predictable flow of good quality leads at the price you want them for with your advertising. We usually shoot for about 3 to 5 leads per day minimum, and that helps us achieve our sales goal. So the next thing is sales. Now, sales is going to include everything that happens after the lead is generated up until the initial sale is made. So this will include things like lead nurture, appointment setting, follow-ups, everything to get, before the consultation, during the consultation, handling objections in the consultation, whether that's on the phone or in person or a combination of both, like we do. So your sales system isn't just a sales script for on the consult. You've also got to be able to nurture the leads and get them to the sales consult. So that's what you've got to have in place there. Ascension this is what I call converting a front-end client into a long-term or back-end client. A back-end client is classed as someone who stays with you for a minimum 6 to 12 months and has a good lifetime value. So of course, if you're signing up, let's say 10 people a month to do a 6-week program on the front end, you need to know your ascension rate, which is the percentage of those 6-week challengers that join you long-term at the end. And you should be aiming for a minimum 50% there. So you've got to have a process for ascension. So when you get new people through the door to try you out, they're staying with you at the end. The majority should be signing up long-term. That's your growth strategy in a nutshell. Now, the next step is retention and lifetime value LTV. This is where profit begins to be generated in the company. Growth was all just about revenue, but that's not the money you keep. That's just the money that you get. Retention and LTV is where we really make profit and make your studio profitable. So this comes from 3 major things. First of all is results, getting results. This is going to include everything to do with your service delivery and programming, down to the apps that you use, the softwares that you use to manage your members, the programming that you do, how you train your staff, how your professional knowledge, getting results and tracking results from the first initial body scan to 12 weeks in, to 6 months in and beyond. Okay, so this, of course, all these things are whole modules in themselves inside my program, but I'm just giving you the quick overview checklist so you know all the main pieces. Experience is the next layer. So your clients will come for the results, but they'll stay for the experience. And this is where you build a relationship between the coach and the client, and also between the clients and other clients or community. So experience, community, making the gym the best part of their day, integrating it into their daily life. Things like this. This is all the stuff that happens outside the workouts, okay? If the results come from the 3 hours in the workout, the experience is the 165 hours that they're not with you, but you should still be a part of their life. And the gyms that crack that and have the right systems in place get the best retention. And then we look at maximizing lifetime value per client. So if you're not aware, lifetime value is the total amount of money that you make on average for a client through the duration of their lifetime with you. So there are a few ways we can increase this, and this is where maximum profit comes from. So much hidden money in your business comes from not doing this. So there are a few little simple things we can do to quickly bump up the lifetime value. So for example, there's charging more money. If you increase your rates by offering more value into your program, that gives you more money per customer. If you can increase the billing cycles, if you can get them paying you more often, if you can get them paying for more months, in other words, retaining for longer, you're getting more money from that client. If you can get more upsells, they buy supplements and merchandise, or if they refer more people. These are all ways to maximize more money from one singular client. And that's the main unit we're looking at here is the lifetime value of one customer. When you multiply that then by the capacity of memberships you can have in your gym, that gives you a real amount of money that you can actually make. So I would say that most gym owners I work with, when they come to me, their max lifetime value per client is around about £500 to £600 or about $700. After we do some simple tweaks, including the things I just mentioned, we can quickly bump up that lifetime value on average to $2,000 to $3,000 per client. So literally tripling your income without getting any new clients. So that's retention and lifetime value. You need systems in place for that. Now it comes to operations. Now when we start getting above 50 to 100 clients, we need to start really dialing in the operations. Now, operations comes in three things. We have infrastructure. Okay, now this is going to cover everything to do with the setup and the organization of your studio. So this could cover things like your session times. What does your timetable look like? How many session times should you open right now? Should you have 3 sessions a day, 5 sessions a day? This will cover things like your payroll, which we'll come to in finances. It's going to cover your organizational chart, meaning what roles do you hire for? When do you hire them? Okay, and how many people do you actually need? You need to know exactly who you're going to hire, when you need them to come into the company. And then you need to know what are their job roles going to be? What's their job description? Infrastructure will also cover things like HR and legal things. So do you have all the right permits for your gym setup? Do you have all the right documents and taxation set up? That's just kind of all basics like that. The next part of operations is the systems, okay? So systems are the SOPs, the standard operating procedures. I'm going to add that in there, SOPs, for everything we've talked about so far. So if we've talked about the growth, the retention, all this stuff, then the SOPs are making sure that every one of those tasks is documented and trainable to somebody else. So how you deliver your workouts is structured into an SOP. How you deliver a sales consultation is structured in an SOP with checklists and templates and scripts and trainings that other people can follow. If you don't have these templated and good SOPs, you will not be able to bring anybody in to actually do them. Okay, and then finances, finally, this is going to cover the main finances of the company. So you've got to track all the right finances, including your client acquisition finances or growth. So there's all the growth numbers from here. For example, what's your ad spend? How much are you paying for a lead? What's your client acquisition cost? And all these kind of things. Then you're going to have all your retention and lifetime value, daily operational finances. So how many people are completing your challenges? How much money are you billing each month? Right? What's your cost of goods sold? What are your basic expenses to run the company? Payroll, overheads, tracking all these things. Okay, and then also having financial projections so that you make a financial plan ahead. That's one of the biggest things that I do with my Fitness Pro clients that changes the game for them. Is probably on the first session we have together, we actually build a 12-month financial forecast. So we know exactly how much money needs to be generated and how we're going to make it for the next 12 months. Then they're no longer chasing their tail. They're not confused. They know exactly what to do. They know what needs to be done. And that's how they get the focus and productivity and the discipline, because they have the clarity of what needs to happen. So dialing in your finances is going to help you be profitable and help you fix any major problems in your business. Then we have team leadership. All right. So now at this point, you start bringing on team members. So we have whole modules in our program dedicated to recruiting and leading your own team and being a boss, being an awesome boss. So if I was to break this down into 3 main pillars, we have number 1 is company vision, core values, and culture. So if you don't have a vision for the company, if you don't have core values that you make decisions by, and you don't build the culture in your gym, you're never going to grow it beyond yourself. It will not happen. And again, 90% of the trainers I work with don't have any of this in place. So the thing is, if you don't have a vision, then you can't attract good teammates because you won't know, you can't compare your vision to theirs. In any relationship, two people have to have a similar vision long term. So you need that with your team members. You need to make sure that their vision aligns with your company vision, so it's a good fit. If you don't know what your company vision is and can't articulate it, you're never going to pick the right team members. Likewise, core values are the boundaries or the standards that we keep, or our tenets, let's say, that we keep on the way to the vision. Okay, if the vision is the destination where the company is going, the core values are like the bumpers on the side of the road that keep us on track. And we need core values to make decisions, to know that is this decision going to get us closer to our vision, and is it going to do it in a way that is integral to the things we believe in. Okay, and then finally, culture. Culture is, I define culture as your core values in action. So a lot of gyms talk about core values. They say things like, we're all a family here and we're the best part of our client's day. But if I then ask you to demonstrate that and say, how do you know you're being the best part of the client's day? Do you demonstrate it? Do you measure this? Do you track it? Are you accountable to it? That's where the difference is. So in our gyms and the gyms that I mentor, we have a culture system in place that actually quantifies and tells us that our core values are being lived because our clients report it to us. So we know that our core values are being demonstrated, and that's what builds our culture in a conscious, deliberate way. So the next step then is recruitment. Now that your vision, values, and culture are in place, you can start bringing people on who align with the vision and the values and know what's expected in the culture. So recruitment, this module covers everything from how to find the right people, where to find them, how to interview them, how to pick the right person, how to pay them, the legal and human resources considerations, how we manage the staff rota, and all that kind of stuff. And then finally, you have communication. So you're going to need daily, weekly, monthly meetings with your team members, whether it's just a couple of you or there's 10 of you. You need a communication system that is consistent, focused, and productive. So I walk Fit Pros through all the main communication methods, including how we do daily huddles with a team, how you keep your sales team and coaches focused on the right metrics, all the way up to how we do quarterly events and retreats for our team to develop them personally and professionally. So that's a quick checklist there, guys, of the main core things you need for a 7-figure fitness business studio, whether it's a personal training studio that's making 50, 60, 70K a month, or a large group training facility. These are the steps that I take all gym owners through. And the quicker you get these dialed in from day one, the faster your gym is going to be profitable, scalable, and it's going to not overwhelm you, and it's going to give you the free time and the impact that you want to make in people's lives. So again, if you want a copy of this, you can download the PDF below as a thank you just for checking this video out. Let me know your key takeaways. I'd love to know your thoughts. What are the biggest steps here that you learned? What are some of the things from this checklist that you need to implement? And which ones do you think you're doing really well right now? Let me know any feedback in the comments if this helps. And if you want me to go deeper on any one of these subjects, also let me know, and I'll get to work on that as well. All right, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.